What's up, everyone? I hope you're all doing well. This is Jags Central, and this is going to be a preview for the first international game of the season, and it's going to be in London. And it's going to be a first of 2 straight games in London for the Jags. The Jags come every year to London, and it's going to be their 10th straight year, and this is the first time they'll be playing 2 games in London in the same season. And I probably think this is going to be the first time an NFL team is going to be playing 2 international games in the same season as well. And whenever the NFL comes to the UK, there's always that question about if there could be a team that relocates here to have all of their home games here. Even though I don't think that'll happen anytime soon, the Jags have always been that team that are always on everyone's lips. Especially recently with the issues about the Jags Stadium, whether the owner's going to build it himself or the city's going to build it. This actually might be a reality, but this is a topic for another time. And today I'll be previewing the 1 and 2 Jags versus the 2 and 1 Falcons, with the Jags being the designated home team. We have 2 teams coming off a week 3 loss. Before this season, if we said coming into this game, who would be the team that's 2 and 1 and who's the team that's going to be 1 and 2, every single person probably would have said the Jags coming 2 and 1 and the Falcons coming 1 and 2, with the Jags beating the Colts and the Texans, and the Falcons were coming in with a losing record, but the Texans have surprised everybody. However, the Jags could have come into this game 2 and 1 had the Jags offense not been dire since the 3rd quarter of week 1. And despite all of this, the Jags come into this game as favourites. And funnily enough, and this is another streak potential busting game for the Jags, we're 0-4 against the Falcons, and the last time we've beaten the Falcons has been in 2007. I know we play them once every 4 years, but before the Colts game, we hadn't beaten them at the Lucas Oil Stadium in ages. Week 2, we came into that game 0-7 against the Chiefs. And last week against the Texans, we hadn't beaten them in our own backyard since 2017, which is crazy. But looking into this game, the Falcons are kind of an interesting matchup for the Jags. They're a run-first offense, in part because they have a great running game with star rookie Bijan Robinson and also second-year running back Algier. But they have 2 unicorns at wide receiver and tight end with Drake London and Kyle Pitts. But this is probably because we don't see enough of them because they have a bad quarterback. But for the Jags, their defense has kind of been top 3 against the run this year, and this is a plus for this game because you'd think the best thing that Jags do is defend the run, and the Falcons can't and the Falcons don't have a good passing game, so you'd think this is a game where the Falcons should be able to win. But however, on the other end, I don't think the Jags offense is a great matchup for the Falcons defense because their edge rush is quite bad, but they have a very productive interior defensive line, and the Jaguars O-line has been struggling this season to pass protect. So even though they haven't given up a sack last week, but Trevor Lawrence was hurried a lot. Like, Trevor Lawrence had a torrid time against the Chiefs because the O-line couldn't protect him, but it's going to be an interesting game. So it's not as easy as you think, but I think the Jags would win this game. But let's look at what the Jags need to do to win. I think the first thing they need to do is run the ball. Our only shining light from last week was from the woeful performance was Travis Etienne. Falcons haven't been great at stopping the run this year, so we need to make sure that we run the ball. Second thing that we need to do, pass rush has to be on point. Last week we allowed CJ Stroud to cut us apart and sit back in the pocket. Before our game against the Texans, he was the most sacked QB, and they were missing 4 out of 5 offensive linemen, including left tackle Laramie Tunsil, and we couldn't get a sack, which is absolutely crazy. And the funny thing is now, last week, Desmond Ridder was sacked 7 times last week. So if we can't get a sack against this Falcons O-line, I don't know what we're going to do. And then the third thing we need to do, I really think that playmakers need to make plays. Like, Trevor Lawrence has been getting a lot of stick lately, but he hasn't been helped by his receivers who have made big drops for touchdown. We really haven't seen Calvin Ridley since the 2nd quarter of week 1. We haven't been getting our playmakers like Kirk, Ingram, Calvin involved as much as other teams get their star playmakers involved. I think that's what we need to do. So the 3 things we need to do is run the ball, the pass rush has to be there, and the playmakers need to make plays. Looking at the injury report, right tackle Anton Harrison is day-to-day. Calvin Ridley is fine after a knee injury. Zay Jones, who missed last week, is day-to-day but is trending to play. Linebacker Devin Lloyd, unfortunately, injured his right thumb and got surgery, so he won't be travelling to London. My prediction for the game, I'm going to say a Jaguars win as usual, but I don't think I'm going to predict as high of a score as I did last week, so I'm just going to say a humble 19 to 14 win for the Jaguars. I think it will be a close one, and I think we'll edge it out towards the end. But yeah, thank you for watching. Catch you guys after the game.